All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back, Friday edition with the MLB Witching Hour from SHIPIT.com. I got my guy Hamwich, as always, on the Friday here. Hamwich, I'll bring you in early. How we doing, man? How's your Friday? How was Thursday Night Football? How's your week been? How we doing, buddy?
Yeah, doing good. On the road a little bit earlier in the week. I got to watch that second half of that game last night. It was a great game. And gonna ship some winners tonight. Gonna watch my Tennessee Volunteers go to the Swamp and beat the Gators on Saturday. And then we're gonna ship a Millie on Sunday, an NFL week 2. Looking forward to that. I got my slate plan up on the site on FanDuel. So yeah, been a great week. Thanks for asking. Hopefully yours has been going well. I know you were crushing it in the MLB streets earlier in the week, so congratulations on that. You've been actually dialed in over the last few days.
Yeah, it's nice. We're finally we're getting in stride, and couldn't be a better time to ask for heating up a little bit here. Been on here obviously all season long, first season doing full MLB content all year long like this. It's been a blast. All the people hanging out in here. I see we the people. I see Mike Carr, Thomas, Warren Tyler, everyone in here. We appreciate y'all. It's been a good week. Yeah, Tuesday I think it was, right? Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. All these days blend together now when you do content 7 days a week and play all these different sports. But yeah, it was a very good night. Wasn't even going to play. Got on here, talked through the show, basically nailed the entire slate right here on the show with title, and went on to ship just about every contest on DraftKings with a single lineup. So it was pretty fun to see. But hey, you can't live in the past. You got to look forward. Obviously, it could all turn instantly. So we got to keep grinding, keep the head down, keep the pedal to the floor, and continue to pick winners here for the people. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're Tour for 4 here, like I said, not the PGA Tour. It's the Tour for 4,000 subscribers. Hit that 3,000 mark. Title, Hoop, and Tambo gave away a 6-month membership yesterday for our hitting 3,000 subscribers. We are going to continue giving away free rolls, giveaways, everything like that. We love giving back to the people that support us. And all of our shows right here are free on this YouTube channel, this one and the Mayo Media Network. So if you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe, you'll catch all of our shows that do go live, including a full weekend of NFL content coming up. I know our guys Title and Marley just went through the MMA slate. There's a big MMA card tomorrow. Obviously got college football, got everything going on. I'll see you tomorrow, Hamwich. We're recording that Sunday night football showdown game that will get released on Sunday. But yeah, incredible stuff over here at SHIPITNation.com. Real quick before we jump into the slate, I do want to just push this up on the screen again here. We are trying something new here. Little 5-day package, little $5 or 5-day trial period here for $19. The only caveat is you do not get the Discord access, which I think is very, very incredible piece of SHIPITNation.com. Best Discord I've been a part of in my entirety of this industry. But you get everything else, including the SHIPIT Nation education video that Tambo and Hoop 4-hour course broke down everything you need with NFL. Obviously, it's week 2 this week with NFL. We just had the Thursday night football game last night that kicked that off. And you get everything for $19 for a 5-day period. That'll take you through all the way the end of week 2 NFL season because next week at this time, 3:34, you will lose your access. Obviously, you can prorate it and sign up, which is ultimately our goal. But we understand people want to test it out, see what we actually have before they make the commitment there. So SHIPITNation.com, $19. Click on the trial period. You'll see it right there, and you'll definitely will not regret it. How much? We got a big slate here. Let's go ahead and talk like we always do. Start at starting pitcher. Let's go 8K and above. Pretty loaded range here. Obviously got quite a bit of guys. Want to bring out a couple of names, couple of chalkier pieces. Griffin Canning to start with gets that matchup out there in LA versus Detroit. He's going to be probably 30 to 35% owned, I would say here. Another guy I want to throw out to you is Tarek Skubal in that same game there out there in LA. I see a lot of people pairing those two pitchers together. I like both of them. I think both of them are fine. We'll talk through that. But I want to get your thoughts on Skubal. Seth Lugo is going to pick up a little bit of ownership as well. And then pretty much everyone else up in this upper tier, is going to be unowned, especially the guys at the top, Aaron Nola, Justin Steele, Kirby. Those guys are going to be under-owned. The only other guy that might garner some ownership here is Hunter Green against those Mets there in New York. Where are you going up at this top tier? There's a lot of pitchers. I think a lot of them are cross-offs for me personally, but where are you going?
Yeah, this is tough, Nades. It really is because the top-rated pitcher, the top-priced pitcher on the slate is 10-4 in Aaron Nola. We're used to seeing those big boy price tags, 11.5, 12.5 for the likes of Strider and so forth and so on. And when I was diving into this slate, it's just tough to play these guys. Aaron Nola, I love. I actually played Aaron Nola at home versus these Cardinals in the FanDuel Live Final. But at home, these Cardinals just are striking out 18% versus right-handed pitching. Same thing, very similar with the Diamondbacks versus Justin Steele. George Kirby, who doesn't want to pitch more than 6 innings, apparently taking on this Dodger team at home. Zach Eflin, who strikes out no lefties, taking on these Baltimore Orioles. The list goes on and on. So for me, up in this top tier, it is going to be Tarek Skubal taking on these Los Angeles Angels. He would be my favorite pitcher in this range. We've been picking on this Angels lineup for the last 2 weeks, in and out with Ohtani. Mike Trout's obviously been gone for a while, but he would definitely be my number one. And then number 2 for me in this range would be Griffin Canning, taking on this Detroit Tigers team, striking out over 35% of right-handed batters over the last 30 days. So give me some Griffin Canning. And then my third one, that I like the most is may shock some folks, but it is going to be Lucas Giolito. The name of the game is strikeouts in MLB DFS, and Lucas Giolito has a high strikeout rate. Gets to face this Texas Rangers ball club away from their home ballpark. Cleveland is, in my opinion, a little bit more of a pitcher's park. So give me Lucas Giolito. I think he'll be under-owned just because of the name, but we've talked about it. I've heard it on this show. The Rangers offense without Adolis Garcia and the rest of the crew have just gone down a little bit. So that would be the 3 that I rank. I certainly, if you're MMEing, which I know a lot of people are, I don't think you can, take Nola, take Steele, take Hunter Green out, who's my boy, who I've played time and time again, and just freaking dump so much money on Hunter Green. I don't think you can take them out of your player pool, but you and I both are going to play, 1, 2, 3 lineups tonight. That's where I'll start.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. We differ a little bit here. I will start. I don't have any really interest up at the top. I like expensive bats. We're going to touch on that. I love Houston tonight. I love that Kansas City game, which is a little bit strange, but I talk about it all the time. I love the Royals when they're at home there in Kauffman Stadium out in Kansas City. So I'm going to be going to that game. I love that game for hitting. And those Astros are very expensive. So I'm not getting all the way up to the top. My SP1 on the slate is Tarek Skubal. When you factor in ownership, Tarek Skubal, there's enough other guys up here that are going to take ownership. And especially in that game right on the other side, Griffin Canning is going to garner more ownership than Skubal is when you factor in his price discount there that you get. Tarek Skubal, he's been good. I think he's a very good real-life pitcher. Gets this Ohtani and Trout. I'm not sure if Ohtani's in the lineup yet again, but nonetheless, there's a lot of strikeouts there. He's got a good projection. Ownership, 25 to 30%, I think is fine. I think ownership does spread a decent amount here at pitcher. We're not seeing any 50, 60% on pitchers on the slate. So my SP1 is definitely Tarek Skubal. I will go. My second favorite is actually going to be Logan Webb here. And the reason I'm just bringing up Logan Webb is he's going to be sub 5% owned. Gets a very good matchup here. I get it, right? He is pitching in Coors Field, but these Rockies strike out a lot. Logan Webb's been good. Nobody's going to play him, and he's 8,600. And on the flip side, everyone wants to play the Giants bats. So maybe I just, play Logan Webb. The Giants bats help me out, get the win there. Maybe they don't do enough, or some of these other offenses on the slate that I do like match the production that the Giants, I don't have to deal with the pinch hit concern. I do like Logan Webb there, under-owned at 8,600 right there. He's going to be a fraction of the ownership of Seth Lugo at the same price. I don't hate Seth Lugo. Gets this matchup against Oakland. Positive strikeout matchup here. I think he's fine, but I do like Logan Webb right there. And then I do have interest in Griffin Canning. It's just the matchup. It's the projection, everything in that game. I actually don't mind pairing both of those pitchers. I wouldn't pair both of those pitchers and play the Giants or the Twins personally. Just that's the chalk pairing, I do believe, and then the two chalkiest offenses. So wouldn't do that, but I do have interest in those. So I'll rank this top tier, and then I'll throw it over to you to rank the top tier, and then we'll go in the bottom tier, because I do actually have interest in some of these cheaper pitchers on the slate that I was mentioning to you beforehand. But I'm going to go Tarek Skubal number 1. Logan Webb will be number 2 for me when you factor in the ownership, everything, the upside there. And then my third, I'll say Griffin Canning just by default, and then Seth Lugo a close 4th there for me. How you ranking the top tier, and then we'll hit on the cheap guys.
Yeah, for me, I'm with you. I think we're locked in lockstep on Skubal. I really like him. Angels, over a 25% strikeout rate in our projected lineup. It does not have Ohtani, which obviously raises Skubal's outing. Number 2 for me would be all the way down there, Griffin Canning. I'm not scared of these Detroit Tigers bats. And then, like I said, number 3 for me would be Lucas Giolito. If I did have to play a 4th, if I played somebody up in that upper echelon top tier, it would be Aaron Nola. I just really like the way Aaron Nola pitched the last time against this Cardinals team. So give me Aaron Nola would be my 4th if I was going up there, but I'll be lower than Nola than most, I believe. Yeah,
no, excellent breakdown. Let's hit on the below 8K guys, DraftKings pricing as always. A couple guys I want to throw out here. Number 1, David Peterson. I actually have some interest in him. Zach Thompson. I have some interest in him. But really nobody down here is getting a ton of ownership that you have to really worry about ownership. But I mean, looking at that, David Peterson, the temperatures are in the 60s there, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds blowing in New York there, 60 degrees against a team that just can't hit, especially as of late. They struggle against left-handed pitching, and David Peterson's been up and down, but I think he can go out there at the price point 6,600 and get us a decent score here, 17 to 20 DraftKings points. Even if he gets you 15, he doesn't kill you here. It allows you to do a lot with your roster. So David Peterson's my favorite SP2 on this slate. I don't think Zach Thompson right there at 6,200, a little bit cheaper than David Peterson, is the craziest play. He's got a decent projection, gets this Philly matchup that there is a lot of strikeouts. It does come with a lot of power upside there. But again, it's pretty cold across the Midwest. Obviously, it's September baseball here, so temperatures have dropped. We're not in the heart of July when we're seeing 105-degree weather. Have to worry about that. So I like both of those guys. Really don't have a ton of interest on anyone else down here. Maybe Jack Flaherty, something like that. Do you see anyone else down here that I'm missing?
Yeah, this will be the neighborhood where I'm going to live tonight, Nate. These are some of my favorite pitchers. Like you said, we want to play some of those expensive bats. I'll just, not in no particular order, I'll just go in the order of price. But Brian Bello, I really like Brian Bello. He's going to be unowned. Going up to Toronto, who I think, name-wise, they get more ownership than they should. But Bello's been striking out 28% of right-handed hitters over the last 30 days. And we all know that the Blue Jays bats that are going to do the most damage, Springer, Bichette, Vlad Jr., Schneider, Matt Chapman back in the projected lineup. We all know that they're right-handed hitters. So give me some Brian Bello. Really like Brian Bello. Low owned tonight. Your boy, Brandon Pfaadt, taking on this Chicago Cubs team. We always talk about it. First game out of Coors Field. Brandon Pfaadt, I think some people will play the Cubs, but not me. He's striking out. He's striking out over 20, 25, almost 26% of right-handed hitters. And outside of Bellinger, maybe Happ, I think all the good hitters for the Cubs are righties, the Swansons of the world, Suzuki's, people like that. So give me some Brandon Pfaadt down there as well. The other one, and I know you're not going to like this, but your boy for the Washington Nationals, Jake Irvin, going into Miller Park, going into Nades' backyard. Give me some Jake Irvin tonight. Jake Irvin striking out 30% of right-handed hitters over the last 30 days. I really like Jake Irvin tonight. So those would be the main 3 that I would play down here in this range.
Yeah, I'll leave Jake Irvin to you and Mr. Bill B there in the chat. Bill B, personally, I have zero interest in Jake Irvin. I like David Peterson and I like Zach Thompson, both right there, sandwiched between them. The ownership really doesn't matter. I actually like some of the Milwaukee bats against Jake Irvin here. So completely different on flip sides. It worked well for me. I'm going to try and make it 2-0 in the last week and a half here against my guy Hamlich here on these Friday shows. I know Mackenzie Gore got to the Dodgers pretty good last Friday, so I'm going to run it back here and not play another Washington Nationals pitcher here on a Friday night. Friday night lights. Maybe good thing he's got that Tennessee polo on, so he can go to bed early and get up nice and early and be ready for that game tomorrow when he's out there pitching Jake Irvin on this big of a slate. But I guess, I mean, there is crazier plays. I will say it. He is 6,400, so you can't trash a cheap pitcher too much. But when I have interest in two guys around him, right at the same price point, 6,600, 6,200, I just much rather go there because, again, ownership doesn't matter a ton. I'm not playing the two chalkiest teams on the slate in terms of bats. So I'm a little bit chalkier than normal at the pitcher takes here tonight. So that's where I'm going. Go ahead. Let's go give the people our top 4 pitchers on the slate, all salaries, everything. And then we'll go game by game before we jump into that.
Yeah, I'm going to go number 1 overall for me would be Tarek Skubal, 9,000. I think it's a great price against these Angels pitchers ballpark. So give me Skubal 1. I'm going to go Griffin Canning 2. I'm going to go Brian Bello with his strikeout upside 3 against Toronto, and then my 4th would be Brandon Peafot against these Cubs. I saw a belly bomb in the chat. I don't think so. Not tonight. I think it's going to be a Peafot night myself. So give me Brandon Peafot would be number 4 for me.
Yeah, we definitely differ here. Tarek Skubal is number 1 for me. David Peterson, all things considered, salary, everything like that, matchup, wind, weather, is going to be number 2 for me. Griffin Canning would be 3 in that same game there against Detroit. And then my 4th is actually going to be Zach Thompson there against those Philly at home for St. Louis there. So that's my 4, 3 cheap guys, expensive guy, right? The 9K there up at the top, but I want expensive offenses on that slate. So let's go ahead and jump into the offenses. If you guys haven't hit that like button already, hit that like button. We definitely appreciate it a ton. Helps us out a lot. And hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Get notified when we do go live, everything like that. We bring you these shows 6 days a week for free. And we have content on this channel 7 days a week for all sports right here for free for you guys. So we appreciate any help that you can provide by interacting with the videos here. So first game on the slate, we're heading into Baltimore that I'm looking at, Tampa Bay and the Orioles. Flaherty on the mound, Zach Eflin. Rays 4.5 implied run total. Orioles 4 implied run total. Don't think some of these are the craziest things. Baltimore's been very good over the last month. You got Gunnar there, Adley, Santander, Ryan O'Hearn all have good numbers against righties. Zach Eflin definitely has his struggles. So I prefer the Orioles side here personally, but Flaherty can also get beat up and knocked around too. So don't think either side is crazy. Not my favorite game by any means on the slate, but do think you can grab some pieces here.
Yeah, no, I actually love this game tonight, Nades. I love the Orioles. They'll be super contrarian going up against Zach Eflin, who has a big name out there, but he's just been struggling against left-handed batters, only striking out 16% of left-handed batters over the last 30 days, giving up a fly ball rate north of 32%, hard hit rate north of 40%. So give me these lefties, Gunnar Henderson, batting leadoff tonight, I believe, Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, Ryan O'Hearn. Really like those guys. Then I would skip over Aaron Hicks and then give me Cedric Mullins. So I think 1 through 6 minus Aaron Hicks, I think you could play. Really love those Orioles tonight. I'll be off of the Rays bats, but certainly wouldn't mind some righties. Righty, little reverse splits guy. Jack Flaherty give a little bit more pop and power to righties. So if you wanted to play some righties for the Rays, I think you could. But for me, it'll be Orioles only, and I don't mind full stacking this Orioles team.
Yeah, Eflin definitely struggles against lefties, and these Orioles are rolling out 8 lefties. Obviously, a couple of 3 of those are switch hitters there. Obviously going to hit from the left side of the plate to start the game while Eflin's in there. So not the greatest lineup for Mr. Eflin to face here. I know he ranks pretty good in our starting pitching rankings over here, but I can't do it. It's a little inflated with when you throw in Heston Kjerstad in there, and he struck out in 100% of his at-bats at home. Obviously, a very similar limited sample. It was 1 plate appearance against right-handed pitching, and he struck out. So the numbers are a little skewed there in terms of the rankings. So I do like the Orioles. Definitely prefer the Orioles side here. All the lefties would be my preference. My favorite bat, definitely Gunnar Henderson there, batting leadoff. He is expensive, but you got dual position eligibility there, and he's a pivot off of Alex Bregman Bregman, Jeremy Pena, some of those guys that are going to garner some ownership at the position. So I do like that. On the Rays side, you can always pick some power off. My favorite would probably be a punt catcher there. In Pinto, 2,500 expected ISO of 304 on the season in his 29 plate appearances against right-handed pitching, and it's a punt catcher. 2,500 makes things work with some power upside there. Decent strikeout rate against righties as well. So I do like Pinto there as a full punt. You can throw Luke Raley in there if you want a little 8-9 mini stack. Wrap it around to the top, throw in Brandon Lau or Rosarena, something like that. But yeah, definitely think there is better spots on the game, but it is one of the best totals on the slate that we have, so I don't think it's the craziest thing. Next game, we have Brian Bello. You talked about Bello a little bit in terms of a low-owned pitcher. I don't hate it by any means against Toronto. And then Jose Barrios on the mound for the Blue Jays. But the Red Sox implied to score under 4 runs coming out of Fenway, where they just played a couple games. And now Toronto, 4.3 implied run total against Brian Bello. Personally, I have no interest in either side of this game for bats. Do you see something I'm missing?
Yeah, no Jays for me. I do have interest in Bello. I'll be playing Bello on some of my DK teams. And then I do have interest in Tristan Casas. I do like Tristan Casas tonight. I'll go ahead and give the people an early one. Tristan Casas taking Jose Barrios deep tonight. Go ahead and mark that down. Take a picture of it because he is going yard tonight. So I do like Tristan Casas. I might play some other lefties. I prefer the lefties where Barrios gives up more power to lefties than he does righties, as well as he's only striking out 19% of lefties. Casas just profiles extremely well tonight. So if you want to make some money, go ahead and put Tristan Casas in your lineup. He will get you 14 DK points off the bat.
All right, little bold take for him, which personally I don't hate it. I don't think Weiler Abreu is the craziest play there. 3,300 hitting 6th at the outfield position. Obviously, you can always find some cheap value outfielders. 3,300 is a pretty good price tag there for some power. Another lefty against Mr. Barrios there. But yeah, definitely I like other games much better than this one. And the next game here is the same kind of story. My interest would be on the Mets just against home run hunting against Hunter Green, who throws very hard, but when you make contact, the ball goes very far. So I do like some of these Mets. They have a lot of guys that smash righties, especially at home, but not my favorite stack because Hunter Green still does have a big arm, can strike out a lot of guys. So personally, I'm under on this game. Definitely no Reds for me against David Peterson. I like David Peterson quite a bit on this slate, but some of these Mets power guys, Brandon Nemo has been locked in. My guy DJ Stewart up in the 3 spot tonight. Think he's an excellent play against Mr. Hunter Green here, who you can home run hunt against. And if you want a little mini stack, throw in Mr. Pete Alonso there. Mauricio, I think, is a fine second base value guy, 3,500 for him. Pretty good lineup position there. So my interest definitely resides in the Mets side here. They're going to be unknown, especially with that implied run total against Mr. Hunter Green. I don't think it's the craziest take here. Hunter Green, you can hit deep here. Do you see anything that I missed?
Nate's new favorite player, Ronnie Mauricio, who hit bomb for you the other night to propel you to 190 DK points when you absolutely mowed down the slate. That was a great call by you the other night to play those Mets. But tonight, I mean, what a journey we're on where it's September 15th and a guy named DJ Stewart is batting in the 3 hole for the New York Metropolitans. I'll pass on that. I like him in the 6 hole where he's not going to garner any ownership. That actually, looking at this lineup, Nate's, I actually like Hunter Green a little bit more. He does have strikeout upside. I know these Mets don't strike out a whole ton, but if DJ Stewart is batting in the 3 hole, I understand he can go yard, but that's not a good spot for him. So give me Hunter Green over these Mets, and then no Reds for me. I don't like Peterson. I know that's your boy, and he's projecting okay tonight, but this game's a complete cross off with all the games we have on the slate.
Yeah, I wouldn't play. I mean, Hunter Green, yeah, he strikes out a lot of lefties, but he gets a ton of fly balls and a ton of power. So I'm home run hunting the lefties. And Mr. DJ Stewart fits that bill and the price point, lineup, everything, and he's not going to be played. So I'll play Mr. DJ Stewart. You might have to stick around and see who my home run call. It may or may not be Mr. DJ Stewart. We'll wait until the end of the show for that. Last time I gave him out, he had a little double dong for us. But next game on the slate, we have Texas heading into Cleveland. Giolito on the mound, John Gray. I think this game's a complete cross-off spot for me for bats outside of Corey Seager. Obviously, you can play Corey Seager each and every single night. I mean, the guy continues to just smash the baseball. elite one-off at shortstop, but really no other interest outside of that. Mitch Garver, I guess, is fine too at catcher. But outside of that, no bats for me in this one.
Yeah, same. I think Seager, I mean, obviously you can always play Seager. He took Gausman deep last night. Mitch Garver, I don't think it's the craziest play. Mitch Garver hit a ninth inning bomb the other night to propel one of our members into cashing pretty good in one of the tournaments when I scored him on FanDuel. So I think you can play Garver, Seager, and then no Guardians for me. We talk about it all the time on this show. They just don't hit enough home runs to win a slate, to break a slate. Their expected ISO is below 150. So no Guardians for me. They play too much small ball for us DFS players. Give me Seager as a one-off. Give me Garver as a one-off, and that would do it.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Just pulling up the weather here for this next game because it is definitely a big talking point here. Next game on the slate is the chalkiest, probably it's between them and the Giants is the chalkiest stack of the night. Obviously, the Twins chalk last night on that short slate for all the baseball, real ones out there that were playing baseball on a Thursday night football slate, especially a short baseball slate. I was in the streets. And those Twins were definitely the chalk of the slate yesterday, got the job done. Going to be chalk here again, and usually chalk in Minnesota doesn't go hand in hand very, very well when you got a 27% strikeout rate team against right-handed pitching. But you look on the other end, and it's a horrible pitcher. Jesse Schultens isn't quite as bad as Mr. I've drawn a blank on his name. Whoever was pitching last night for the White Sox, Urena. Schultens isn't quite as bad as him, but man, that's I think anybody's better than him. Like I said on the show yesterday. So the Twins definitely going to get a ton of ownership here. They're still extremely priced very, very fairly. Alex Kirilloff at first base is just 2,800 hitting third. Julian 3,700 batting leadoff. I mean, you got Kyle Farmer in there 2,500. Matt Wallner 3K. Willie Castro, who's been good, 3,100. So these guys are super cheap. It allows you to get in those pitchers up at the top. You can go Scuba and Canning, 5-man these Twins, get an expensive mini stack of those Astros or Coors Field. So I do think they have a ton of ownership on the slate. I personally think I'm going to take an underweight approach on these Twins. Temperatures in the 60s, wind blowing in there in Chicago. I just hope Schultens can go out there and just limit the damage. And I'll take my chances elsewhere on the slate. I think the Twins are fine. Personally, I like other spots better. And then no White Sox really for me. I'd never even think of playing the White Sox on a full slate. Ain't going to change here tonight for me.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown, Nades. And the thing with the Twins that's so tricky is 8 of their 9 batters are 4K and below on DraftKings. So to your point, luckily we don't have, the 12-5, 12K pitchers tonight. But they're still going to be popular because, you're going to want to play some of them more expensive bats. Jesse Schultens is so bad. In GPPs, I think it's okay to fade, but in cash, I think you're going to have to play some. I'm with you. I'll be a little bit underowned on these Twins just because that's how, I play GPP. We play GPP very similar, but as a one-off, I don't think it's the worst idea. And then looking at this White Sox lineup, and I didn't mention him earlier, but I really like Bailey Ober tonight. Against this White Sox team. So I won't be playing any White Sox, just looking at this lineup that they rolled out. White Sox team striking out, over 21% at home versus right-handed hitters. So give me some Bailey Ober tonight. So no White Sox, and I'll maybe do a one-off for the Twins just due to ownership.
Yeah, no, I definitely, if you're on the Twins, I would prefer the lefties. He's very ground ball heavy. To righties, the righty bats there. So Royce Lewis, Correa, Jeffers, and Farmer, I would be a little bit lower on. My favorite bat for the Twins would probably be Matt Wallner, like he always is. Just 3K there, 7 spot. Probably goes a little bit under-owned hitting in that lineup position. But all these Twins are going to get ownership. So I'm taking a little underweight approach in GPPs. But, yeah, cash, they're definitely – cash, you're going to play Twins and you're going to play Giants. You're going to play Scuba and you're going to play Canning. Most likely, or maybe throw Lugo in there or something like that is how the cash build is going to go. But our guy Title has that covered over on SHIPITNation.com here. Haven't even looked at it, but I have to assume there's a lot of Twins. There's a lot of Giants bats in there. So Twins, I think, are fine. Prefer the lefties. I'm going to be a little underweight. And then the White Sox, for me, no interest personally for those guys. Next game, it's the Hamwich and Nade special here. It's Jake Irvin, apparently Cy Irvin, as Hamwich is proclaiming here. But these Brewers, 5.1 implied run total here. I think these Brewers are definitely interesting. Jake Irvin, I don't think is a very good pitcher. I get it, right? He's been pretty solid over the last 30 days. But I mean, give me some of these lefties. And the Brewers should get Mr. Christian Yelich back, which is big tonight. So I like Christian Yelich. I like Santana, Frelick, Tellez, Turang, if those guys are in there. Give me the lefties first, and then any of the righties. Obviously, you know he's adding a power righty, William Contreras, Willie Adames, Mark Hanna, who's been pretty good. So I don't hate the Brewers as a mini stack here. Don't think I'm going to 5-man stack the Brewers, but I'm not a believer in Mr. Jake Irvin. So I know we're definitely going to be different in this game. Where are you going here?
Yeah, definitely no Brewers for me. I think if Irvin can get through Christian Yelich, I think he'll work his way through the rest of this lineup. The rest of the lineup doesn't scare me. He's striking out 30% of righties over the last 30 days. Has 4 of those in the confirmed lineup. Just get through Yelich, Mr. Irvin, and you'll be good in my books. I don't think this Brewers team is going to beat you. Hopefully my words don't come back to haunt me like they did last week when Nades got 8 runs on me against my boy Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore's on the IL now, so no Brewers for me. And then no Nats for me. I mean, I don't think we've stacked the Nats in a long, long time. I mean, CJ Abrams has been good, but he's facing a lefty tonight. And then these other 8 righties in the lineup for the Nats, no thank you for the Nats. I mean, you could pick off, one or a one-off if you wanted to, but it's not going to be for me.
Yeah, I'll give you one guy as a one-off here for the Nats, and that's Mr. Carter Kieboom. Hitting in that 5 spot, 3,500 at third base. Third base in that price range there is pretty weak. In that mid-3s, it's obviously very loaded, very top-heavy position here tonight. So I think Carter Kieboom hitting 5th. Righty, looking at the last 30-day numbers for Wade Miley, 10% strikeout rate to the righties, ISO numbers of 256, and a fly ball rate is up there too at 26%. So I think Mr. Carter Kieboom there, he's been good in his limited sample since coming back here. So I don't think he's the craziest, but yeah, definitely prefer the Brewers lefties in that one. Just Kieboom for me on the national side. Next game on the slate here, we have the Astros and the Royals. My favorite game of the night. I think you can game stack this one. I love it. If I had to pick one spot here, I'm not going to Coors Field. I'm going to this game. I'm going to Coors Field 2.0 and Kauffman Stadium out there in Kansas City. Not the greatest weather like we've seen in the middle of summer, but that's the nature of the slate. That's where we are everywhere. Still think it's very good hitting conditions here. Christian Javier has not been good. I've stacked against this guy over the last month and a half. I bring it up all the time. His numbers have just plummeted. I mean, especially against lefties, 17.5% strikeout rate to the left side of the plate over the last month. ISO numbers up north of 300. Ground ball rate approaching sub 20% ground ball rate. And you got very, very cheap Royals here. I love some of these lefties, especially the lefties here for the Royals. I mean, MJ Melendez batting leadoff, very, very good value play there. Love him. I love Michael Massey there. Drew Waters, I think, is fine. Nick Prado, if you're punting there. And then obviously you can throw in the righties. And then on the Houston side, Houston's been one of the best, has been the best offense in baseball over the last month. And now get Zach Greinke. We've seen Zach Greinke. I mean, over the last month, Greinke striking out 6.2% of lefties. And you got 2 of the best left-handed hitters in all of baseball there in Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker. Michael Brantley's another great lefty in here now in this lineup that has beefed it up a little bit. So Astros, my top stack. They're expensive. I think they go a little on their own because they're hard to fit in. You have to punt a pitcher. Like I said, I like David Peterson. I like Zach Thompson down there. So I love this game, both sides here, which is a little bit different. I haven't talked on the Royals too much, but I do think the Royals definitely go under-owned here as well. So I like both sides for sure. Are you with me?
Yeah, I am with you. Just got some bad news, though, Nades. My home run call, one of my early home run call got scratched tonight, so no Tristan Cassis. Make sure you're taking Tristan Cassis out of your lineups because he just got scratched. But we're in lockstep on this one, Nades. Love picking on Zach Greinke. Love picking on Christian Javier. One guy did not hear you mention that I love for these Royals, Nelson Velasquez. Really like Nelson Velasquez. He is a righty. I know you talked about the lefties. Give me the lefties. Give me the righties. For these Royals, give me these Astros. Give me Yordan Alvarez going yard tonight against Greinke. He literally can't strike out anybody, less than 10% from the left-handed side. So give me these lefties for the Stros. We're going to win. We're going to print. We're going to get all these shippers tonight in this game right here. Let's do it.
Yeah, I do want to say Nick Prado is an extreme fly ball hitter against a fly ball pitcher in Javier. And Nelson Velasquez, I've been a truther of him for a long time. I've put him into many of my cores over the last month. And he's an extreme fly ball guy against a pitcher who's got a 55% fly ball rate to the righties. Yeah, he's got a better strikeout rate, sitting right around league average. Javier, that is, against right-handed hitters, but gives up a ton of power and a ton of fly balls to the righties. And Velasquez, 40% fly ball hitter. Drew Waters, another cheap guy down there. Salvi Perez. I mean, this entire Royals team over the last 30 days is green in terms of fly balls. So sign me up for some of these low-owned Royals against a fly ball pitcher here in Javier, who's not been the same Javier as the beginning of the year. He's definitely fallen off a cliff. So love this game. My favorite game of the night. Think we beat that horse enough. Let's jump on to the next game here. It's the Phillies and the Cardinals. Personally, I have no interest in bats. I think both pitchers are fine here. I think Zach Thompson's a great punt pitcher here, value guy. He's got a 27% strikeout rate in his limited sample on the year. His pitch count has been up there. I looked at his pitch count over the last couple of games. He's thrown up into the 90s if all things are going well. So that's enough for me at 6,200 here against a team that strikes out at a 27% rate against left-handed pitching. There is some low strikeout bats in there, Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, Alec Boehm, but the rest of them are all up there, 25, 30% strikeout rates against lefties. So I think he's definitely got upside, and that's what I look for in a cheap pitcher. So no bats in this one for me.
Yeah, with you lockstep on that one. Going back to Christian Javier, what do you call that? He's a shark pitcher where every number of his is red, which is no good. So he's bleeding all over the place. So I like
shark in the water, blood in the water, blood in the water. The Royals are coming to eat a bunch of feeding sharks over here.
So if the Royals and Stros game pops off for 20, Nades and I are going to be doing well tonight. Just know that. But yeah, no bats tonight. Pitchers Park. I don't know what's the weather tonight in St. Louis.
Let me look at this screen. So
not to derail you while you're saying that. I mean, just if I had to do a one-off in this game, it would be JT Realmuto. Profiles nicely against Zach Thompson. 363 expected ISO tonight. Will be batting 5th or 6th, I believe. So I would play JT Realmuto, but that would be the limit of my exposure in the Phillies as far as stacking or anything like that goes.
Yeah, temperatures in the low 70s, upper 60s. Wind's not really a factor, 4 miles an hour kind of blowing across the field. So not a ton of difference there in the wind.
Okay.
But yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Next game we do have to talk about, though. It's the chalkiest offense and one of the hardest offenses in baseball to stack with the pinch hit. I mean, definitely the toughest team by far to stack day in and day out are these Giants. And now the Giants are going to be them and the Twins are clear-cut, the two chalk offenses by far in the slate. No questions about it, especially at their price points. And these Giants now get a reverse splits guy here in Chase Anderson. So you're going to see a ton of lefties. And that's what we see in the projected lineup. I don't see the confirmed lineup out yet. But thing is, once you got a reverse splits pitcher here in Chase Anderson and a ton of lefties, you're kind of just holding on because a lot of these guys might only get 2 at-bats, right? Not a lot of them, but some of these guys, Brandon Crawford, Yastrzemski, Conforto, some of these guys. So there's definitely concern. I think the Giants are fine, but again, I think I'm eating chalk at pitcher tonight, a little bit chalkier pitcher takes. So I'm going to be underweight here. Again, I love that Kansas City game quite a bit. I'm going to hope Chase Anderson can mitigate the damage. Hopefully they bring in a lefty there. I haven't looked at bullpen or even know if Colorado has a lefty in the pen that's available there, but have to assume they have at least one that they can throw out there and hopefully get some of these pinch hit guys out of here. So definitely touch on these Giants. I think the Giants are fine. Obviously, you can play any away team here in Coors Field, especially against a bad pitching staff in Colorado. And then the Rockies, personally, are a cross-off spot for me. I think Logan Webb's a very contrarian starting pitching option with a lot of upside here on the slate.
Yeah, I'm going to differ with you a little bit. Chase Anderson, former Brewer grade, if I remember correctly, going up against these Giants. Obviously no interest in him, but and I was looking at their bullpen as you were talking, and another former Brewer great, Brent Suter, is the only lefty that I see. There could be another lefty in there, and that's the thing with the Giants is, the split second that Suter comes in. Suter hadn't pitched in 3 days, and as soon as he comes in, the manager will start pinch hitting those lefties out in a nanosecond. So I'll lower my exposure. And I talk about this every time that the Rockies are on the slate. With as many games as there are on the slate, we can find another offense that's going to match the Giants at a minuscule of the ownership. So for that reason, for the pinch hit risk, I'm going to be off of these Giants. I do like the lefties a little bit. I don't think Logan Webb has had a good a year as Logan Webb. The Logan Webb that we know did have a good outing this last time, but give me Nolan Jones. Give me Ryan McMahon. Would be the two lefties that I have a little bit of interest in as a one-off. I wouldn't full stack these Rockies, though.
Yeah, you can obviously throw in Chuck Nasty there. Blackman there, batting leadoff, 4,800. But, yeah, I like Logan Webb. It's just a contrarian play there at the same price of Seth Lugo, who's going to get a lot of ownership, probably 20 to 25%. Logan Webb, same price point with a great matchup in the Rockies, even being in Coors Field at sub 5% ownerships. So little things like that can get you different. But, yeah, I'm under on this game as a whole in general, kind of lockstep with you. Couple games left on the slate here. Not a ton of interest overall. Next game on the slate, I don't think I have interest in either side of this. I love both pitchers in this one. Pitchers duel. Think I wouldn't even look here for a one-off in Detroit and LA. Do you see anything I'm missing?
Yeah, nothing for me in this game. No Ohtani. We'll let G. Rising play Torkelson, but yeah, complete cross-off for me with the sticks.
Yeah, G. Rising might be playing Torkelson and Kerry Carpenter. Personally, not for me. And yeah, complete cross-off for bats. Next game, we have the Chicago Cubs taking on the D-backs here, 4.5, 4.6 implied run total for the Cubs, 4.03 implied run total for the D-backs. PFOT, you had a little interest in Justice Steele on the other side for the Cubs, who's been very good all season long. Personally, I don't have any interest in this game in terms of bats either.
Yeah, definitely no Diamondbacks for me. Justin Steele's been pretty good over the last month. They just don't strike out enough for me to play Justin Steele in DFS. And then I like PFOT a little bit. I mean, he obviously has a ton of fly balls, and we like to pick against fly ball pitchers. But I'm going to take my chances tonight on DK with PFOT as a low-owned contrarian pitcher. I just don't think that I think he's pitching well against righties. And I'll take my chances tonight in a GPP with PFOT. So first game out of Coors, give me PFOT, give me no bats from either side. In this game, if you wanted to play Christian Walker as a one-off, I don't think that's the worst idea. Known lefty masher. So give me a little Christian Walker if you wanted to go one-off.
Yeah, you can throw Tommy Pham in that bucket too. He's been crushing the baseball, and he's just 3,800 at outfield with a lot of power. Has a little bit of speed as well there too. So I don't think that's the craziest play. But yeah, overall, I'm under on both sides of that game. Next game, I do have an interest in one side in particular here in the Padres against Sean Newcomb, who's been pretty solid in the limited sample when he's coming back. But it's a terrible, terrible bullpen behind him. So if the Padres get to Newcomb early, it's going to be a bloodbath, I think, with that bullpen, guaranteed nothing at bats. Not the greatest hitters park, but they're really outside of Coors Field and Kauffman Stadium. I mean, we don't have Fenway. We don't have any of that. The weather is kind of neutral across the entire slate. Some of the other games have a lot of wind blowing in, things like that. So there's not a ton of boost in terms of weather and parks on this slate. So I do like these Padres here tonight. I think they go overlooked a little bit, especially at their price points. And especially when people click on the game log and look at the numbers here on Newcomb. I mean, he's got a 34% strikeout rate on his limited sample size at home on the season here. Personally, I like 1 through 9 are in play. I think Garrett Cooper is super cheap. Baton at second base and third base are both of those guys are super cheap. And then obviously the big guys up at the top. Don't love them as much as spending up for like the Astros. But I do think you get a discount in ownership off the Astros as well with these big-time Padres bats who can always get into the baseball. Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, those guys. So definitely interest on the Padres side. On the athletic side, Lawrence Butler, I'll continue to bring him up every time he's on the slate. You get a little leverage here against Lugo. Lugo's going to pick up some ownership. And he's projected to hit 6th right now at 2,100. With a lot of power. So don't hate him. Don't hate Seth Brown. Some of those lefties there against Seth Lugo, I don't think are the craziest plays, but not a ton of interest on the Oakland side personally.
Yeah, you nailed that on the Oakland side. Lugo historically has given up much more power to the lefties. So any lefty power, I think, is okay to play against Lugo. I personally won't be going there. I can't. I've lost a ton of money listening to you talk up Lawrence Butler all week. So I'll pass, and he'll probably double dong tonight, knowing my luck. But the lefties I wouldn't mind. And then, for me on the Padres side, I'm a little different just in the fact that it's 1 through 5 for me. It stops at Bogarts for me. So Bogarts, Tatis, Machado, Ha-Dong Kim, and Soto would be the 5 that I would get my exposure to on the Padres, and that's it.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. It's a $2,100 guy makes a lot of things work in your lineup, and he can hit for power. So he gets you 14 points. I don't care if he strikes out 3 times, right? If he was 3,300, 3,500, 4K, something like that, I would definitely not be mentioning Lawrence Butler. But at 2,100 with some power against a pitcher that's reverse splits and going to get ownership, there's definitely crazier plays on the slate than to play Mr. Lawrence Butler there. Last game of the night, I know you have interest in one of these sides here. I have a little bit of interest in the Dodgers as well. It's just another Friday night Dodgers theme. It's been happening all year, a little bit there from these shows. Always the Dodgers on Friday night. I don't think it's the craziest play here against George Kirby. You talked about it. He's been complaining. His strikeout rate's below league average on the season. Can get hit around, and these Dodgers, one of the best offenses in baseball. Max Muncy, JD Martinez, both locked in at the plate right now. Obviously, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, smash the baseball no matter who they're facing. 1 through 9, I think, are firmly in play. Obviously, you do have a little bit of pinch hit concern there with Peralta, Hayward, and Outman. All 3 of those guys, I think, have pinch hit concern. Kiki Hernandez, if he does start, I think he's going to be fine to play the game, the entire game if he does start against a righty. But those 3 lefties for sure, I wouldn't play all 3 of them together. Probably won't even play two of them together because they're definitely, if this game is close, one of those guys is definitely, or 2 of them are definitely getting pitch hit for Rosario or some of those righties coming in off the bench. Like the Dodgers here, no Mariners for me against Bobby Miller. I just think George Kirby, like you said, been complaining a little bit here. I think the Dodgers definitely know that and kind of want to punch him in the mouth a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What was shocking to me, though, was this Dodgers offense has an implied run total of under 4, which that's probably the lowest that it's been all season. So Vegas must have a little bit of faith in George Kirby. But I love these righties against Kirby striking out less than 20%. Obviously, Mookie leading off. I really like Mookie, really like JD, and then sprinkle in a little Freddie and Max. 1 through 4. I don't want to get much past 5 because the pinch hit risk once you get to the Peraltas, the Haywards, the Outman. Outman typically stays in the whole game, but those other guys get pitch hit for. So I play 1 through 5, and then if Outman's in, I wouldn't mind playing Outman if he was in the top 7. But that, and then on the flip side, I don't hate these righties for. I don't hate these righties for the Mariners either. No one's going to play him. Julio Rodriguez has just been phenomenal. He's 6,600 on DraftKings, which is mind-boggling. No one's going to pay that price for him. 4,500 on FanDuel, which is high as well. But give me Teo Hernandez. Give me Eugenio Suarez. Ty France projected to bat 8th, which is the lowest I've ever seen him. I don't mind these righties at all tonight, so I don't mind a full game stack on both sides of this game.
Yeah, give me Yordan Alvarez, give me Mookie, give me Tyler Tucker all day of the week, twice on Friday, 3 times on Sunday over Mr. Julio Rodriguez at 6,600. I do think ownership follows that way on those 3 guys too. But man, 6,600, he has been incredible. But 6,600 against Mr. Bobby Miller here is kind of absurd in a pitcher's ballpark. But he'll be low owned, and we always love that in baseball. So I don't think it's the craziest thing. That's going to do it. Let's go ahead and give the people our top 4 stacks. We'll get on into our low pitcher call, home run call, and then get on out of here. Give people enough time to build their lineups for tonight.
Yeah. Number 1 stack for me is going to be those Houston Astros. Really like them facing Zach Greinke. If they're not going to be, the top 1 or 2 ranked stacks, well, I'm going to have tons of interest in them. Number 2 for me, and I'm getting a little contrarian going from here, but I like these Baltimore Orioles against Zach Eflin, specifically speaking, the lefties, 1 through 4. Really like those lefties versus Zach Eflin. Number 3 for me, another contrarian stack, I believe, and it's going to be those Kansas City Royals. Christian Javier just been getting absolutely batted around. You mentioned it earlier, huge fly ball pitcher. So give me that. And then my 4th, another contrarian. It's a Friday night. Wouldn't be complete with a Friday night without someone on this show mentioning the Doyers. Give me the Dodgers as my 4th ranked stack of the evening.
Yeah, we're very similar. My number 1, Astros by far. My number 2 is actually going to be the other side of that game in the Kansas City Royals. Padres 3 for me. I do like those Padres. And then my third would be those Baltimore Orioles lefties in particular as well. Kick it over to you, low-owned pitcher call of the evening.
Oh, low-owned pitcher. I think I'm not going to pick my boy Jake Irvin just because I feel like he's got too many lefties in there. Low-owned pitcher. I'm gonna go to the desert. I'm going to face a team coming out of Coors Field for the first time where honestly they disappointed in Coors Field, and that is the Cubs. So give me Brandon Pfaadt facing these Cubs. 20 DK points incoming tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to match it here. A little friendly wager. We have a little $20 little wager here on my favorite pitcher of the slate, David Peterson. That's not going to be the call because he is going to get ownership. I'm actually going to go below Mr. Pfaadt there. I'm going 6,200. Zach Thompson against the Phillies here at home for St. Louis. I think he posts 18 to 20 DraftKings points here tonight. Home run call. I'll kick it over to you. You better not steal my guy. Go ahead.
I don't think I will. I'm gonna give out two tonight, and I don't think either one of your guy. One of them is going to come from one of your teams, but I didn't hear you talk about him. So first one for me, coming from my fourth favorite stack, he's going to lead the game off with a bomb. Mr. Kirby, you don't want to pitch 7 innings. That's fine. You can pitch 4 tonight because you're going to get batted around. Give me Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts will go yard tonight, and then my second one in that game that Nades loves, batting 6th, I believe, Nelson Velasquez.
Well, both of my home run calls are coming from those Kansas City Royals. So I'm going to go a little 1-2 stack here. MJ Melendez, batting leadoff, going to lead off the game with a bomb, followed up by Mr. Bobby Too Hot, Bobby Witt at shortstop. They're going back-to-back here tonight in Kauffman Stadium against Mr. Flyball, Christian Javier. That's going to do it for the Friday Witching Hour show here. We appreciate everyone that has tuned in, watched this. All of our content is up on SHIPITNation.com, SHIPITNation.com, 6-month packages, year packages, and the new 5-day trial. If you want to give us a tryout, little 5-day mission, $19, no access to the Discord, but you get all of our premium content, including that NFL course. That is a 4-hour education video that Hoop and Tambo went through that talks about everything you need to have success with DFS, especially as it relates to the NFL season, which is now underway, best time of the year here. So definitely head over to that. Check us out. We'll be in the Discord answering questions. Like I said, all of our content is up. We appreciate y'all. Have a great Friday. Good luck in your contest. Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Sunday. But for Hamwich, I'm Nades. We'll catch you guys next time.